Right. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Gail Larsen. And Gail, I like to refer to her as my public speaking guru. She's the author of Transformational Speaking and offers speaking intensives of the same name in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which I attended about 2 years ago. So, Gail, it's really, really wonderful to have you. Welcome to the Way the Happy
Thank you.
Woman community.
Good to see you again.
And I'm speaking with Gail today because she is going to be one of the guest teachers at my upcoming Women's Yoga Teacher Training down in Tulum, Mexico from January 12th to 19th in 2013. And we're graced to actually have her live on site for that week. And she'll be teaching her segment in person. So I wanted to give you all a little sneak peek of who Gail is and what she's going to be teaching today. And Gail, one of the things that really resonated with me through the time that I spent with you down in Santa Fe 2 years ago, that was really actually unexpected, was your emphasis on discovering our original medicine. And I felt personally that when you helped me to get in touch with that it helped anything that I have to say, even to speak now in this way. It helped me to feel a sense of clarity, of certainty, of passion around it. And I wonder if you could just give a glimpse for the rest of the women here. What do you mean when you talk about original medicine, and why is it so important for us to get in touch with?
Yeah, I do think it's kind of a surprise to people. We don't just start speaking, we look at what we bring to speaking. And the term original medicine is an indigenous belief that we all have gifts and talents that are nowhere else duplicated. And the second part of that teaching is if we don't express it, it's lost to the world for all time. So when we're looking at expression, when we're looking at bringing our gifts forward, it's so helpful, as you discover, to really name and claim what it is about yourself that is your medicine in the world. And I talk about that if you know your medicine and your message, you're going to simplify and amplify everything you do, because it helps us when we're really clear about who we are and what our gifts are and what our message in the world is. Then we don't waste time with things that don't really align with that. So we know what to say yes to, we know what to say no to, and so I'm delighted to hear that it has supported you in that way.
Definitely. And there were so many other things in that intensive that were supportive. And I'm wondering if you could just name some of the other elements that are part of what you teach in transformational speaking, in addition to original medicine.
I think what I do is try to help anyone who comes get out of jet lag in their life and catch up with who they've become. Because, we have all these stories and all this stuff, and we tend to stick with what works when we're speaking or in our professional life in any way. And yet there's always the new coming in. And if we don't stop long enough to reflect on it and tell the stories of it and see what's bringing us alive now, we can really get stuck in yesterday's masterpiece and not move forward and feel really alive to our lives. So the first 3 days of this 4-day immersion is exploration, as you know. We work with stories, we work with turning points in our lives, but we really work with what's present right now. That's our best material. And then we start connecting those threads and weaving them into how we want to show up now. So it is a very unusual speaking course in that we don't say, come in with a speech and let's fix it. I tell my clients, I'm here to find you, not fix you. Because when we're coming from what I call the home zone, as you remember, it's not a comfort zone we want in
Not at
speaking.
all.
It's being at home with ourselves. And when we come from home, it's going to make everything in our lives so much more alive. And it's more fun. And we connect more with people. So that's really what we do. We find what's home for us. I don't try to impose a way of being on people. I try to find your way. And boy, was it fun to watch you expand in that, Sara, and dance your presentation and do the yoga to the presentation. And I remember one woman in the class calling me the week later, and she said, sometimes I think our world is just going to hell. But when I see young women like Sara, I trust our future. So when you're willing to bring that love and expression that you are forward and have it be seen that way, it creates connections and possibilities that wouldn't happen otherwise. And that's why the work makes me so happy.
Yeah, and for me, it was such a surprise what we discovered about my public speaking style. It wasn't at all what I expected, but it was true when I just looked at what was there, what's here, and where I've been. It was obvious then,
Yeah, I mean, why
in
would someone
retrospect.
with your flow and your movement and your capacity stand behind a lectern and give a speech? It would just be insane.
Yeah.
So you moved forward in a way that was unlike anyone else, and it was just beautiful to watch it unfold or unfurl in your case.
Yeah, and then so much of what I learned there and what you teach has become part of what now I offer in my women's yoga teacher training in that capacity as a woman's yoga teacher, of finding your unique expression, finding your unique voice, bringing
So,
your unique gifts. With that, I'm bringing a lot of the things that I learned from you into this training, and I'm wondering if you can share with us some of the things that you'll be focusing on during your teaching segment in that training.
well, since you said we can send some advance assignments and things to think about, I'd really like to invite each person there who may or may not currently be a yoga teacher, but if they're coming out in this training, they are probably expressing themselves somewhere in their life where they're meeting their public. And I am getting so clear, Sara, that it's a non-negotiable that learning how to speak about what we love can be, it just has to be done well. We can't not show up for that if we're going to bring our gifts to the world and our points of view that can be very healing. So I'm going to invite the women who are there. Are there 17 in the
Yeah.
group?
Mm-hmm.
That will be 17. To think about if you had just 1 minute to speak, what is it you would say to other people? And then to start thinking about when in your life did that become important, because there's usually a very good story attached. And when we say what we love and what we care about, and we also tell people why, and they hear the story in our life, it really is inarguable. People might argue with our opinions, our way of being, but no one could argue with the truth of our story. So I think it would be great if we could have those 17 women speak to what they most want to communicate and where that grew from in their lives.
Mm. I will pass that along to those women.
And I have also 4 questions that I used in a closing session at a conference in New York this week that several people have already asked me for.
Mm.
And I'll tell you what those questions are, because they really help us get clear about what we're here to do and how we want to express. The first one is, what delights you and brings you alive? Because I love David White's poem where he says, anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. So what delights you and brings you alive? And the second question is, what breaks your heart? There's some things we just don't want to go there because it hurts. But actually, that's probably the place of our greatest gift, if we're willing to let our hearts be open. And then the third one is, what does healing look like? If we worked with those first 2 questions and what we wanted to see change. What would that look like? What's the new story we care about in the world right now? And then the fourth question is, what one life-affirming action will I do consistently and beautifully with love?
Hmm.
So it helps get us on a track that's truly aligned with who we are and what we care about.
Hmm. Beautiful. I'll also post those questions on my blog below the video for us to contemplate on as a community. So thank you so
Well,
much, Gail.
thank you. I can't wait to have our time
Me
together and
neither.
to listen and to meet everyone who's coming.
Yeah. And for the women who aren't coming, do you want to share some information about where they can learn more about you?
Oh, realspeaking.com,
Okay.
or transformationalspeaking.com or gaillarsen.com. It all goes to the same place. And also my book, Transformational Speaking, If You Want to Change the World, Tell a Better Story.
It's an awesome
And I
book. Yeah.
thank you. I offer the immersion in Santa Fe about every 6 weeks or so. And then I do a few intro classes, one at Omega in New York and one in Vancouver every year.
Okay. Yeah, I highly recommend the intensive in Santa Fe for anyone who's interested in giving a voice to your gifts. And my experience, Gail, with that was too that like I didn't have a choice. If I wanted to bring this message in the world, out into the world through the way the happy woman, I had to learn how to speak in public, even though
Well,
it
I
really scared
remember
me.
when you went out with your book and how excited you were about your book events and the tweets that were showing up. How unexpected it was for people.
Yeah. Yeah, it really touched people and it was such a joy for me to share too. It felt like such an expression of the deepest parts of myself.
Yeah, well, thank you for your willingness to show up so fully, Sara, and share yourself with the world. Huge gift. And I look forward to our time together in January.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gail.
Yeah, thank you. Great blessings.